Okay, start the show. Welcome. I am Guru. Let me start that again.
Yeah, you should definitely start
I said Goro.
the Goro.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Welcome. I am the Guru. What the F did I just watch? And this is Hate Watching with Dan and Tony.
Hey, everybody, I'm Tony.
I am the Guru. What the F did I just watch? And this week we watched Mike Myers, the Love Guru.
Yay.
You know, I got to apologize.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I'm gonna get hairs in my mouth from this damn thing. It is one of the worst movies ever. Like,
Yeah,
there's genuinely just one of the worst movies ever. You can't even like bathe in the badness or the stupidity. It's just so painfully long. Not even actually, it's so painfully long, and it is the shortest movie we've ever done.
It's super short, but it felt like 4 days.
I watched like half of it, and then I was getting ready to watch the rest of it, and our cable went out for 4 hours.
You're a lucky man.
And I'm just like, yeah, exactly. It's you. Cable being out is better than having to watch this movie.
It's the first time that I think I've been mad that I wait till Friday to watch it, because I was like, I need to watch this in installments throughout the week. I need 10 minutes a day tops, because that is all I can handle.
Oh, I mean, this movie is a train wreck from top to bottom. And I didn't. Did you see what the budget was?
No, I didn't. But I bet it was a bunch.
I bet it was a bunch.
The cast is insane. There's a lot of great people in this cast, and they're all aggressively unfunny.
Yep.
What is going on?
And I was watching one of our old shows, because I watch our old shows because they make me laugh.
Well, you're our only viewer, so thank you, Dan.
And we were talking about sticking with the bit and just hitting that bit. And this movie has so many bits that it just sticks with, and it hits them over and over. Oh, sorry, Mariska Hargitay.
Okay, so here's the first part of that, is that I didn't even realize that was her name. And then she popped up on screen, and he does the bit where he's like, oh, whatever, Mariska, I don't even know her name. Still, to this day, he said it 400 times.
Mariska Hargitay.
And so I had to look up if that was her name, because I was like, I don't understand what just happened. And it turns out, yeah, that's her name. So
she is actually Jane Russell's daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jane Russell.
They don't share a name.
Big star. Yeah, and she's on, whatever that show is.
Wait. Which
CSI, one of them.
She's on the scary one about the sexual
Special Victims Unit. Unit.
I can't watch that one. It makes me real sad.
No, I do not watch that one.
Yeah.
I don't really watch any. I try to watch some of those sometimes, and they're just they're amazingly character heavy.
Yeah.
They like really deal, this character got stolen by this serial killer and kept in a box for a month, and
then they live with it. That's what's interesting, is like they carry it up for a procedural. They definitely carry those arcs. I don't know. It's good. It's just not my bag.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into it, they make these characters, and the characters have all these sorts of flaws. Unlike this movie, they make these characters and they follow through with them, and all sorts of things happen. And so Love Guru 2008, Mike Myers getting back to movies after just doing Shrek. Paramount writes it or co-writes it. And basically this movie, he plays a guru who helps people.
No, he doesn't. I would argue he does not. I don't see that happen in the movie.
No.
And also all of his little, I don't know what, self-help parties, I mean that's obviously not what you call them, but when he gathers all the women in the room and he just has those weird improv games where he does the letters, the acronyms or whatever.
Wow, you got that word right. Acronyms. That's what it is. I was thinking I had another word in my head which was completely wrong, and I'm like, what do they call that? Yes.
What is
yes,
this?
I call that the orange board sequences.
Was the board orange?
Because it was orange.
Okay.
What's
I thought
the
there was
board?
a hidden meaning. I don't.
yeah, Tony. The board was orange, and the acronyms would appear on there, and then he'd do them. And then, I mean, the main bits were the big orange board with the acronyms. There was the books. There was the Mariska Hargitay. There was what else was there? There were the terrible flashbacks. There was the hockey announcer bits with
which
Stephen
is
Colbert.
My least favorite part of the movie.
The Colbert and Gaffigan. Gaffigan, a man who I find completely unfunny. Yeah. Amazingly, they never even tried to give him a funny line.
No, he's the straight man of the pair, and I just don't think that Colbert has the energy to be that goofy, like the over-the-top sidekick. It reminds me of Dodgeball. Did this come out before or after Dodgeball? I didn't look. I should have looked.
4 years after Dodgeball. And I started to try to watch. I was going to watch Dodgeball all the way through because whenever Dodgeball comes on, I watch it all the way through because it is a perfect comedy.
Yeah, it's great.
And of course, my wife yelled at me because she hates Dodgeball. I should have asked her. I should have asked her why she hates it, but she was like, "I'm not watching that. Turn that on." Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, it's Dodgeball. But yes, Dodgeball has the two guys. One of them's the whatchamacallit guy, and the other's the other guy. Who are they?
Yes, correct.
Jason Bateman and whoever the other guy was.
I don't remember who the straight man is in that bit for some reason right now. But
I can't remember either. But someone's good, and it works perfectly.
Yes, because Bateman has that weird sidekick energy, and Colbert just plays it very Colbert, which is very deadpan, and it's just like these moments are so boring. Stop cutting back to them.
Well, I hate them. And they're absurd because it's like, I need to apologize to Dame Judi Dench, and then there's a picture of her all beat up, and you're just like, what does that mean? I don't understand what any of that. You would be in jail. And
yes.
Why would you be saying this? And why would they be popping that photo? I mean, there's just so many. This movie, I should call it a thing, has more jokes than anything I've ever seen, and what two halves landed.
Interesting. I have two jokes that I like as well. What are your jokes that you like? Do you remember?
Oh, no, of course I remember. And I watched it back. When he's outside and he looks up and he sees the sign and it says guard rooster or cock or whatever it is, when he's on Lecoq's property, there's the guard rooster and there's that sign. And it caught me off guard. You know, I did not expect there to be a sign that says guard rooster. And then they cut to the rooster and I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. Then the bit was not fun at all. And I hated the bit, but I got a little quick laugh of that. And then also when I realized that they were going to bring, spoilers, the two elephants onto the hockey thing and make them have sex.
Oh, you laughed at that. You were on board.
These are both halves. I was like, okay, that is really weird to set up that thing and then figure out a way to get there. Yeah. I found that I was like, okay, this is an interesting premise. I don't know that it is handled that well, but I was surprised which is halfway to being a joke.
That's a good way to look at it.
But I didn't really laugh.
Okay, so I laughed twice in the movie. I laughed when he referred to Jay-Z as JZ because Canadians use Z as in that for whatever reason. I was like, he's a Canadian, which I don't know. That made me laugh.
Wait. This is what I really like because he was not playing a Canadian.
I know.
You were like, haha, Mike Myers, a Canadian, Zed. I love that. It's
I don't know why
that's you concocting the joke that's barely there on the paper.
Yeah. And then the second was the end credits.
Oh yeah, you're right. The Vern Troyer joke.
Yeah, which was
he
a phenomenal
wrote.
joke. Well, yeah, because it was like literally just on set. He cracked a joke, and I was like, why don't we have him improvising? Because that was great.
Because as an actor, Vern Troyer is garbage.
Yeah. I mean, they're all garbage in this movie.
So the whole thing about this thing is it's just these constant airplane kind of jokes. A town called Heron Makeister, a thing about putting your penis on a table and then someone hitting it. Yeah. There's just this. I mean, I guess that's why you probably stopped taking notes, is because it was just endless jokes that never landed.
Yeah, they were all misses. How is that possible? If you send out a machine gun of jokes just for 90 minutes, you have to land a couple. Just by sheer luck, you would have to like stumble upon a couple that are genuinely funny. But I don't think they did.
Well, I mean, basically what you just said is the one thing you found funny was a weird inference that was not really intentional to be an inference, and then a joke that someone wrote on set and was the only thing that they thought to put in the
end credits.
Like in a good movie, you get to the end credits and there's all these, it's like Will Ferrell, doing the Human Torch can't get a bank, Human Torch get a bank loan is better than this entire movie.
Human Torch was denied a bank load. Great.
One of the greatest lines of all time. It's like, I don't remember any lines. That is a line I actually remember. So that, but I think, I was thinking about it, and you and I both write stuff. And what you do is you write the thing down, then you give it to someone that is impartial, not someone you pay, not someone who wants to get the job of working on this thing. You give it to someone impartial. They read it and they're like, oh, even more importantly, if you're taking like a class, you sit there and it gets read out loud and you can hear when people laugh.
And then you're embarrassed when they don't.
Tony is mostly embarrassed. I am mostly getting laughs.
Just crickets all the time. And I'm like, huh? No?
Tony gets up, starts dancing. If I dance when you laugh. I write a little L next to everything that gets a laugh, or a bigger L if it's a bigger laugh. And then you go back and you look at it and you say, people are responding to this. I don't believe this happened with this movie.
I did just the bare minimum of research outside of this movie. So word on the street is Mike Myers tough to work with.
Oh, okay. I hadn't found that. Okay.
So yeah, apparently the director of Wayne's World 1, which was his very first, and she
Penelope Steers
refused to come back for the second movie because he was so hard to work with.
Got it.
Which is why the second movie not quite as cohesive, in my opinion, as the first movie.
Sure.
So then after that he becomes this megastar with Austin Powers, gaining speed in the home release, and then Shrek. So he was already difficult to work with. Now he's, a god in the comedy realm. And so he wrote a movie that they were going to make, and then there was creative differences where he didn't like that they were changing his script, so they scrapped that entire movie. And I don't remember what movie it was now. It never got released. Okay. And then he went to this movie a few years later. So I feel like to make this movie, he probably got carte blanche. I feel like that was the only way he would have done it, is if he could just do what he wanted and then call it a day. I don't know.
And that I read a thing about, I found some of the guys that worked on some of the special effects. And what they said is it was very intense being on the set. Everybody was like, and everything, they were just constantly rewriting and constantly just coming up with new jokes. And it feels like you were just throwing everything at the wall in every scene. And, Mike Myers is like, now it's just all these weird like they try to do fights all the time. And he just makes jokes and everybody has to stand there and like act like they think it's funny.
Yeah. There's often in comedies, you say the line and then you just kind of move on.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, there were a lot of reaction shots in this movie of the other cast members laughing at Mike Myers' jokes, which I found was because they know they're not funny. So it was almost like a laugh track for the movie where it's like, it's okay to laugh at these guys. But I didn't laugh.
And that's your whole thing about this is the guy doesn't play a guru, he plays a comedian.
Yep. Not a guru at all.
I mean, there are guru-esque things that he tries to do throughout it, but his personality is that of a comedian and someone who's desperate for approval. It's almost like Mike Myers through this movie is desperate for approval, and so he's forcing all these people to stand there and approve of him while he goes through all these motions.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of sad. They also shoot him so you can always tell he's shorter than everybody. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice that, but now that you're saying that, that is true. Is that
I don't know.
I don't know.
It just seemed very weird, considering he plays so much on making fun of little people. I mean, the Vern Troyer stuff was just like, is cringy.
That was one of the things, excuse me. That was one of the things that I was thinking about a lot over the last 12 hours because first of all, I think Mike Myers is obsessed with that whole situation. I don't understand it. But in Austin Powers, they do it a little bit, but most of it is out of like the love between Dr. Evil and Mini-Me.
Well, because it's him. He actually treats it as himself.
Yeah.
Not it, but he treats Mini-Me as himself.
Yeah. But this movie, Mike Myers, the Guru Pitka, doesn't like the coach and is mean to it.
For no reason. For
no reason at all, other than, he's a little person. Is that what we're saying now? Is that PC?
Yeah, little person's how you're supposed to say it. You're right. He's just vindictively evil to him and like making fun. We always remember in Austin Powers, he does the whole mole, which
we tried to hit that a couple of times in this movie.
Yes, and the mole thing, it's the whole idea of pointing out something you're not supposed to point out. It's we all know that him pointing out the mole is wrong, but in this thing, he's pointing out that Vern's a little person, and he thinks everybody else should find it funny and find the little person wrong.
Yeah, which is weird.
And the thing about comedy is that comedy is about truth. It's not about just making fun of, when you're just making fun of things and being hateful, that's not really what comedy's there to do, and it doesn't land. And
no,
this
it's not
movie
funny.
It is not funny. So the plot is was he American? He said he was born in America. Yeah.
Yes, and then
his parents died.
Yeah.
He says that at one point. So he grew up in India, which doesn't make any sense exactly. His parents were missionaries or something. So the basic plot is Darren Roanoke is an African American hockey player, little skinny guy, just like the other main hockey player, which is what's his name, singer dude,
Justin Timberlake,
who I think is one of the funniest people ever. Whenever he's on Saturday Night Live, it's always the best episodes.
He's one of the most talented people in the universe.
Yep.
And when he first came on in this movie, I was like, oh, thank God, something funny's going to happen. And then about 8 seconds later, I was like, oh no, they ruined even Justin Timberlake. How is this possible?
So Justin Timberlake, also both of the hockey people who play hockey players are so undersized and underwhelming that you never feel like they're hockey players. I just watched this movie with what's his name? Oh, he was in the new Pee-wee movie. He's the big burly guy that plays Dungeons and Dragons. Forget it. Joe Manganiello.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is the guy you cast as a hockey player. because he feels like a hawk. You know, you need
Did you
that
ever see
weight.
Goon?
No, how was Goon?
Phenomenal. Goon is
Really?
amazing. But they have
Okay.
Liev Schreiber as the opposing hockey player, and he is dope in that movie. So
That's a
good.
Guy that has weight to him. These two guys are these little skinny weird guys, and you're just like, ugh,
Yeah.
it's gross. So
It's
Darren
gross.
Roanoke
You're
has-
skinny people.
well, I mean, you need to.
I get it.
You don't cast the heavyweight boxing championship of the world. You don't cast Joe Pesci. You don't do that. It's stupid. So
Joe Pesci could pull it off. Let's just say that right now, Dan. If
Probably
anyone could do it, it's Pesci.
probably could. So this guy has lost his mojo because he's broken up with his woman, which is the beginning of the movie that makes absolutely no sense. There's no reason. He's like screwing. He just
left
breaks
her,
up with
right?
I rewatched that whole scene and you can't really tell. You can't really tell why this happened. They sort of try to make it about him not confronting his mom, but
Which is
which is
so
another
bad.
thing that goes nowhere and makes no sense. Oh, we'll talk about that scene. See, Tony, you thought there wasn't anything to talk about. There's so much to talk about this movie because we're not going to talk about the jokes.
What I meant was I don't want to talk about this movie because I am very angry.
So they break up, and then she goes to date Justin Timberlake, who has a gigantic penis, which they tell us in a bunch of ways.
It hits the floor. Now, we won't talk too much about the penis, but I have to say
it hits the floor.
this.
Is that when he takes off the towel, it hits the floor? Is
Yes,
that the joke?
Twice, maybe even 3 times. I don't know. But so when he takes off the towel in the locker room, hits the floor, there's a thud, which is a bit they used with Mini-Me in Austin Powers, and was funny because it was followed by the line, "He's a tripod," which is a very funny line. Anyhow, so Timberlake, when he's with the girlfriend or the girlfriend,
Hold on,
she's in the room. Okay, you take off.
Oh. Well, the mustache, the sticky didn't sticky anymore, and then I'm not wearing that stupid beard if I don't have the mustache on.
Now you're wearing like this very sexy deep V, which I enjoy a lot, Dan. You look good. You got your Zardoz pose.
Funnier than this whole movie, the Zardoz pose. Zardoz.
I went back and I clipped that part of the movie out, so I just have that on my computer, just sitting here. Just if I ever need to watch it, I can see Connery just bearing it all. It gets me through the day, Dan. So
me thinking about Jessica Alba gets me through the day. You looking at Sean Connery's
not
chest,
in this
whatever.
movie. Hold on. Before we get to Elba
kidding me?
in this movie.
Oh my God, she's an angel.
Sure. She's very nice. She's very sweet, and she's very pretty. But this movie,
Pretty? Pretty? Not no.
Sorry, Dan. She's no Naomi
Beautiful,
Scott. What are you gonna do?
transcendent, magical, angelic. All words you can use to her. Glowing, transcendent. Did I say transcendent? I'll say it again.
You did twice. Double the transcendent.
Okay, so
hold on. Going back to the penis real quick.
Yes.
So he's with the girlfriend, and she's like, "Let me see it." Drops it. It hits the floor, and she says, "Damn. If I were a woman, now I've never been with a man. I'll just say that. But if something that was ostensibly 3 to 4 feet long falls out of his jockstrap, I'm not excited, Dan. I am terrified. I'm like, 1, there's something wrong with you, and 2, you're going to kill me with this thing. I don't understand why they like this. It's not, I don't know. I took issue with them liking it.
Years ago, I was in an improv class, and we did this extended improv, and my character got labeled as having a giant penis.
Great.
And actually, nobody else in the class wanted to touch that character, and I was like, "Good God, that is the character I want." So it's one of those things where you would jump in and play the character. So I'm like, "Give me that character. I mean, I jumped in and took it before anyone else could. Even actually, a number of people avoided. You could watch them like going like, "Please don't make me play that." And so I would heft this thing around here, and at one point we had people trapped in a mine, and I lowered it down into the mine and saved them. And it's like I missed both of those jokes about the thud with it when it came out, because it wasn't like an interesting sound, or it wasn't like, you know.
And they don't. I mean, they use it as just just like a joke here or there. They don't actually use it as a bit.
That should have been the bit for the whole movie, is that he is constantly dealing with this thing that is out of control.
When he plays hockey, where does it go? These are the things that I was wondering. Like, and does he have it pinned up
along behind him?
Like, he's a goalie, Dan. He's getting pucks shot at him at high speeds, and he's got this unruly thing hanging from him. What does he do with it? Why don't we talk about that at all?
Because that's the thing about every joke in this movie. It has no consequences. It never carries on where it needs to be. So
I'm sorry. Let's go back to the plot of this movie.
So he blows it up with her, and then once she's dating a guy with a giant penis, then he can't play anymore because his mom he could never stand up to his mom. That's the plot of this movie. And none of these threads fit together at all. Just make it like he can't play in front of his mom, or, just choose one thing and then have everything spring from it. But they just let's just keep piling stuff on there that we can fix. So we find out
they don't fix any of it, Dan. I mean, we can talk about that later, but there is no resolution to this movie.
We'll get to it. So Jessica Alba is the owner of the team, ? And Vern Troyer is the coach, ?
Okay. Yes to both of those. But so my problem with Alba in this movie, it's not a problem with Jessica Alba. It's with her character. She inherits the team through nepotism, I believe.
Yeah, I think they said her dad owned it.
And she doesn't want the team. So she
doesn't want the curse, which is they're always losing, I guess.
Right. So if you're gonna have Jessica Alba in this movie, please make her like a powerful woman, like a strong female in this man's world, because right now she's a fish out of water in this men's hockey world. And it's just, I don't know why is she there? And then it further irks me that she has a crush on the Guru Pitka.
Why does she have a crush on him?
I don't remember.
Well, you don't remember because they never told us. And
okay.
She's like, I read all your books, and she just instantly looks at this freaking troll. And we're going to get to that in 1 second. Freaking troll, like hideous beard. Oh, I'm gonna go there. And the most hideous prosthetic nose ever that is never the same color as the rest of his face. It's like they just pulled the nose out and glued it on his face, and nobody did any blending. And that's another thing about Mike Myers. When he did this stupid Gong Show thing where he had to play this British guy and always was in makeup, and we're not going to say it's him because he wrote down all this character stuff. It's like, if you're funny, just be funny. If you have to make up all this stuff to try to talk about why you're not, you're not being funny. That nose is not funny. Jessica Alba being in love with you because of your and you have a hideous nose, it's never going to happen.
Not only that, but then there is no tension in the movie whatsoever.
Nope, no tension.
She's already in love with him. He doesn't have to win her over. He doesn't have to impress her. She's like, I love you. And he's like, oh, sorry, I can't because there's a chastity belt. Wah, wah.
Well, you just blew the whole plot of the movie.
My favorite. Spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen.
My favorite thing was someone was complaining about this movie because at one point Vern Troyer punches Mike Myers in the nuts.
I mean, not to you, but I wrote that. That's one of my only notes that I wrote after the 10-minute mark was, how did he get hit in the nuts? He's got a metal frickin' belt on.
Oh, you realize that he was wearing the belt through the whole movie?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because they kept doing the ping whenever he got an erection. Dan, did you not listen to any of the boner sounds in this movie?
I really thought when he was on the plane and got the boner, it was because he had like a tray on top. I didn't think it was because he had
no, it's his chastity belt. And they do it a couple times. And he goes, bing! And I was just like, yay.
Your boner noises are funnier than this whole stupid movie. So then
Hold on, we got to back up here.
See,
Dan.
we're already 30 minutes in and we're just getting to the titles.
And I think we've jumped past a few things I want to talk about, which is just
no, we haven't.
It's the intro to the movie, the Morgan Freeman voiceover.
Oh, don't go there. Okay.
We have to talk about it for just 1 second because it's the first joke they do, and it immediately pulls you out of the movie. Why?
Sure.
Like, why would you set up the movie as almost a farce? Because you get Morgan Freeman's voice, you pan down, and then it's him at a voiceover machine.
Which is, someone else complained he uses two different. He uses another different.
He's got a big one in the beginning and a small one in like 10 minutes later. Why? Why, Dan?
Because I'll tell you why. Because they wrote the Morgan Freeman line first, and that's in the script. And then later, while they were making the movie, they were like, "Hey, we should do that voiceover thing again, but I want to be walking. Well, get me another one, and we'll carry it." That's exactly what happened, and that's why this movie doesn't work. Is because your callbacks don't even call back to the thing that they're calling back to.
Yeah. But
so then
hold on. One more thing about the beginning. Then they burst into song. Do you remember that?
What does?
There's a whole musical number at the beginning of the movie.
That's the titles.
Okay, so we haven't gotten to the titles.
We've not even gotten to the titles. The titles, They start doing, he does 9 to 5 on the sitar.
Yes.
Sorry. Why does he do 9 to 5?
Because it's amazing. That's the best part of the movie.
You mean the jokes or the song itself?
The song itself. No jokes at all. I wish that this was just a musical, like a Bollywood musical.
That would have been
watch
great.
This movie.
Yeah,
because I genuinely enjoyed their renditions of these pop songs. I thought they were great.
They're great.
Made me so mad about the rest of the movie because so the first joke bombed and I was like, oh, this movie's gonna suck. And then they did 9 to 5 and I was like, oh my god, is this a musical? I'm back on board immediately. And then it wasn't, as you know.
Yeah. So they do 9 to 5. There's all these jokes. This leg joke, head up the butt joke.
I forgot about those.
There's all these beautiful giant-breasted women working at his ashram for no reason, no explanation. You're kind of like what? Whatever. And then he has his Indian servant Rajneesh.
It's a problematic relationship to me.
Yeah. It is a very problematic relationship. And I know we're looking at it from the lens of, social justice world and all that stuff, but still, it's just weird.
There's no way that at the time we were okay with it. I don't believe that for a second.
That's probably true because he's constantly making fun of like the Indian culture and everything.
Yes.
And he's never making fun of himself. And that, Austin Powers was an idiot who sort of succeeded by trial and failure.
Yes. And the reason why that movie works to me and not this movie is that Austin Powers was this awesome, like he was a great spy in the old days or whatever. But then he's a man out of his own time. Mm-hmm. And then he's totally bewildered by the new world. And so through that lens, to me, these jokes work a little bit better. But through the lens of a guy who's super successful, gets everything that he wants. Like nothing is funny about his world.
Yeah, no, he has everything. He has multiple things everywhere, and then they still try to make $2 million check important to John Oliver, even though they have infinite money and never have money problems. I mean, if the ashram was falling apart, then you're like, oh, they need to save the ashram.
Which I would argue it should be, because he's terrible at his job.
Yes.
But they never make a joke about him being terrible at his job.
I like the mini magic carpet that he rode around on. It was cute. It didn't make me laugh, but I thought it was cute.
Yeah, I kind of want one.
Then we meet Jon Stewart, and they make Jon Stewart not funny. His name is Dick Pants, which I didn't even...
Oh, Richard Pants, yeah.
Which made no sense. And then we find out that he wants to be on Oprah, because if he's on Oprah, then he can become bigger than Deepak Chopra.
Which rhymed.
Does not land. Then we jump to a flashback, and we see his childhood, where somehow he's given to a guru for no reason by no one. His parents die, and he's just given away. And what did you think about the freaky big head?
Who's Big Head? Oh, you mean Michael Myers' CGI'd head on the body?
Which, of course, the kid, when they show it from behind, it's a normal sized kid's head. When they show it from the front, it's weird, bloated.
He
Michael
looks
Myers,
like the guy from Mad Magazine.
Alfred E. Newman. You're right.
Thank you. Yes, and I thought that was what they were going for.
No,
you don't think so? Well, then I didn't like it.
I don't think they were going for anything.
The CGI in this movie is not good, and I think you would have been better served not doing it, because it's also not funny. Like, they don't do it in a funny way. They just do it in a way that just wasn't quite good enough. And it just doesn't work. Just either make a joke of it or don't do it.
Yes, say that you have this gigantic weird head, and then from behind you have a kid that has a prosthetic of a giant big head, so it looks like there's a match. But you see, once you don't match a joke, we sit there and we don't understand what's going on. We're like, these are different kids. Why are they different kids? Why didn't they do that? They had $34 million or whatever it is, and they can't do this. So we meet Ben Kingsley, who's cross-eyed for a reason.
No.
Oh, because he masturbates. That's why. He cross-eyed because he masturbates. Yeah.
Did they make that joke? I missed that joke entirely.
That joke was in there because I went and rewatched part of that scene and to try to figure out what happened with his parents. And that's why he gets the chastity belt, because you can't love yourself, because then I don't know. There's so much word gobbledygook behind so many things in this. You never get your head on straight.
Oh, hold on. This movie's making more sense to me now that you say that. So he got his chastity belt so he wouldn't masturbate.
I guess.
So he should be incredibly horny.
Should be, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. I'm just trying to piece together what they were going for. I know that they didn't get there. Let's just say that. They did not get to wherever they were trying to go to.
Now, you're going to have to try to explain one of the jokes to me, because I did not get it.
I'm ready.
Ben Kingsley is pouring tea, and so he pours it into his nose, and then, is that a neti pot thing?
It's a neti pot. Yeah, it's just not funny.
Did they set up that he had a problem with his nose? He just is doing a neti pot thing for...
Isn't he serving it to them? I think that's how he serves them the tea. Yeah, I think
and then there's a nose hair in Mike Myers' tea, and he's like,
which gross. Yeah, I get it, Mike. I would also be disgusted. I think that's just his way of blessing the tea, You just didn't get it, Dan. It's a really funny joke.
So then we go to the ashram, and he does the first orange board thing, which is so unfunny. And then there's the VIP room, and there's Jessica Simpson in there, and Val Kilmer's there kissing Mike Myers' ass.
Yeah, poor Val, man. Val Kilmer.
He looked good.
I love him. Oh, he looks great. I just mean his career trajectory. I don't know what happened. And maybe someday on this podcast we'll figure it out. We'll get to the movie that ruined Val Kilmer. I don't know. But I loved Val Kilmer. He was so cool.
He was
And it
so
just
cool in the
makes
80s.
me
Yeah.
so sad.
I don't know if it was drugs or what it was, but I think he had some situations. And then we do the Mariska Hargitay joke, and
Which I didn't understand was a joke.
and he's got like a mini model, and he pushes a button to make the noise. You're just like, why is
Dun,
this?
dun. Yeah,
And
no.
and then we have a whole Bollywood third eye thing where his third eye opens, and we have this cut to a Bollywood scene with Jessica
Mm-hmm.
Alba. Wait, is that her name? Jessica Alba?
Yeah.
Is that her first name? Jessica Alba. Oh, Jessica Simpson and Alba. And then it stops for some reason because he gets a boner. Probably, maybe he got a boner.
Yeah, probably. I must have missed a ding. So the dance number.
We're winding down because we're just like,
It's just this movie. It's hard. That's why it's hard for me to talk about because it's so bad, ridiculous. This dance number is not very good.
It's very short. There was only
It's very short, but it's just I don't know. I was still hoping for a musical at this point. And so this came back and I was like, okay, great. We're back to the musical number. And then it wasn't good and it ended prematurely. And I was like, oh no, the movie's over.
I think that clip was lifted from a real Bollywood movie. That wasn't them singing. Although
that makes sense.
Although her singing part at the end was really good.
Sure, yeah.
Then I wrote that he gets mocked, speaks his inner he's always speaking his inner dialogue, and no one acts as if he is speaking his inner dialogue.
Yeah, it's just.
Then we're on the plane with Jessica Alba and him. Vern Troyer, who knows where he is? He's not part of this scene, even though he would be on the plane. And then this is the point at which Jessica Alba shows that she's in love with him by making the biggest, doughiest, beautiful eyes at him and speaking in this voice that's just so alluring. And
so what you're saying, Dan, is you wish that you had written this movie and played the Mike Myers character.
Well, hell yeah! Yes.
Okay.
You do not want to give me power. And
I kind of do want to give you power just to see what would happen because I imagine it would be pretty messed up.
Yeah, it would be terrible. There would be many lawsuits.
It would be better than this movie, hands down.
He has a whole string of lines where he completely objectifies her, and she doesn't react to them at all.
So I have problems with his character because he's incredibly inconsistent. It seems his character point of view feels like it changes from scene to scene.
Yeah.
And so my big problem with Guru, the Pitka, is that he's not a real character.
No, he's not a character at all because he doesn't have a want. Nobody in this movie really has a real want.
Wayne's World, great character. Austin Powers, great character. This movie, not a character.
And that's what we're seeing is the movies that are truly painful are the movies where people play people that are not characters. And it just becomes incredibly painful. You know, like Pluto Nash. It's like they're not characters. They're just sort of average people. And it's like average people are fine, but we go to movies and watch media to see heightened situations. And this thing is all heightened situations, but with no consequence.
Yeah, there's nothing to ground it at all. I will say that Pluto Nash looks like Citizen Kane next to this movie, Tim.
It does. Because at least they were, I don't know. So Roanoke writes an apology letter, which for some reason he likes holding up and letting you see it says apology letter.
I didn't get the joke. I don't understand it. Why would that? What is the bit there? So I don't know. I don't get it.
He goes to what's his name? Lecoq's palatial estate, and they're hiding, and they're like, "Do you think you see us behind these bushes?" No. And then there's an elephant behind them.
Which I think that's a bit that I could have gotten behind if the rest of the movie was funny. The thing that suffers from comedy is if you lose me early, it's really hard to get me back. Even if you're funny, by the time you get to the funny, I'm so annoyed by you that I think you just stumbled upon it on accident, and I don't laugh.
I think that might be a large part of how comedy works, because when you're doing improv and you're doing comedy for a live audience, you're gauging what's happening. And
Mhm.
you can feel when you do something outside of the box that's incorrect, they quiet. And then
Uh-huh.
when you start hitting it, you raise the bar. But when I'm watching comedy and I see them do things that are wrong that take me out of it, the
Yeah.
big head versus small head, each one of those is a point, and I just shut down more and more. And I
Mhm.
think this movie shuts you down so hard, so quick.
Yes.
You are never ready to get back on
slammed
board.
that door on me at about minute 10, which is when I stopped taking notes. And they could, even if it was the funniest movie from there on out, I don't think I'd ever be on board. But visually, I don't mind this gag. I think that's what I'm saying in the end, is independent of this movie, I think I could have liked it. If this was in an Ace Ventura movie, I would have loved it.
Huh.
But having said that, Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, is one of my favorite movies, and everyone hates that movie.
So he tries to deliver the letter. There's the guard rooster. There's a whole Quebec pizza thing. There's a Bruce Lee fight. There's a "You're an idiot." Yes, I am. Clothes. I wrote more orange board, a fight. There's a stink mop flashback.
This is like 20 minutes of the movie right now, Dan.
Yeah, we gotta we gotta move through some of this because it's terrible. We go to Stanley. Man, you just keep on. I'm trying to okay, what do we? You want to talk about stink mop?
To power through this movie. You made us watch it. Don't skate through your mistake, Dan. You need to live in it and die in it. All right.
Okay. Sheesh. Stink mop. Stink mop is maybe one of the funniest things. I mean, if I wrote a stink mop sketch, it would be freaking hilarious, right? Stink mop is you put mops into urine and then you fight with them. That is a very, very funny premise if handled correctly. In the midst of this movie, you're like, what is I don't even know what this is. It doesn't make any sense.
No, not even a little bit. Why are they even fighting? I don't understand. Aren't they guru? They're enlightened beings, right? Why are they fighting?
You mean they didn't set up the whole thing where they're now Shaolin warriors and they need to learn the way? I mean, that's the whole thing. Is there was that terrible ping pong movie, Ping Pong Balls of Death,
Balls of Fury.
Balls of Fury.
That's a great movie, Dan. I saw that opening night at midnight.
You are so pathetic.
Yeah. Come on, it was good.
And how alone were you in the theater?
I had several people with me, but the movie theater itself was empty. That was a lot of my college experience, was me going to midnight movies with my friends and nobody else joining us. It was fun. It was a fun culture, all right? But come on, it's Dan Fogeltree. He's great. You're mean, Dan.
I guess at least you had a friend or two.
I might have made that part up. Who knows? What?
Were you by yourself or not?
No, I was not by myself. I was not by myself. I genuinely had a group of friends that would go and see midnight movies with me. Oh. That's actually where the second time I met my wife, which sounds weird, but I met her once in a White Castle parking lot, and then the second time was at Pirates of the Caribbean midnight showing.
The first one?
I think it was the second one.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah.
That yes. First one, you're in that first one and you're just like, people can make movies and they could be amazing.
At some point, we're going to talk about that. But Pirates of the Caribbean is my favorite summer blockbuster of all time.
When he steps off onto the dock from the sinking ship, that you're just like,
you're in.
What?
You're in. You're immediately in. You're like, I don't care what they do at this point. This movie's phenomenal.
And I mean, it's absurd.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It could never happen. But you were just like,
He's Captain Jack Sparrow.
I mean, just a
So
perfect
good.
character. I mean, because he was a perfect character. Perfect character.
Just like the Guru Pitka. The perfect character.
And
Bring it full circle.
there's going to be a point at Comic-Con in 5 or 6 years where there's just going to be all these Guru Pitkas walking around because of what a great character he was.
I mean, it's a shame that they didn't spawn a franchise, because this is one of those characters that would just age gracefully.
They need to made for video cassette sequels of this baby.
Straight to VHS.
To give the people what they want. What were you going to say about the Quebec Pizza Bruce Lee fight? You're an idiot. Yes, I am. They laugh at his clothes.
It wasn't good. Who knows? Just my disappointment in the use of Justin Timberlake.
It's sad.
He's so funny and charming. How do you screw that up?
How do you make him unfunny and uncharming?
Yes.
Not one or the other. You made him both.
You took everything that he is, his entire essence, and you stripped it from him. And then you have musical numbers and you don't let him sing. Shame on you. Shame on you.
And instead of watching this movie, you should go watch the camp stuff that they did on Jimmy Fallon Late Night with him and Jim. Oh my God. If those are sketches that everyone should watch. It's him. Oh. It's Justin and Jimmy are like the campers. And then Keegan Michael Key is the camp counselor. And he comes and yells at them. And he's just making up everything. And they are just not ready. He brings that improv intensity where you're like, he's really yelling at us. And he just drops line after line. And they're laughing, but they're also reacting really well because it's actually comedy.
You said Fallon? This was Fallon?
They're on Fallon, yeah.
Okay, I'll look that up.
Yes, it's camp something. They might have done it a few times.
Okay.
Some of those Fallon bits can be really good. We used to watch it. I watched it every day for 5 or 6 years, and
oh wow,
now I don't. But
and now I don't.
So Stanley Cup won. They win. I think because he convinces him of something, and they win.
Well, yeah, so they go and see the mom, right?
Is that when they
first
saw the
time?
Mom?
Well, because they went. He goes back to. Oh my God, I don't even remember. At some point, he gets suspended.
He gets suspended after game one. They win game one. I think he tells him some lies about something, and he wins.
Well, that's when he's like, "You can't fight anyone," and then that's the ultimate distraction from drama.
Yes, and he figures out that he can play.
Yeah. And then, I don't even know. This is so... And then at some point, he fights everybody, and then he gets suspended.
Then he gets suspended for the next 3 games. So they win the first game, and then they lose 3, and then they're going to have to win 3, because it's 7 games.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's when we figure out he's scared of his mom. So it's not really it's not really losing the wife. He's scared of his mom. And then we have the Daniel Tosh bar fight.
Oh God, that's right.
Yeah, the bar fight, which is another whole.
So here's a recipe for disaster, right? You're Mike Myers, and you decide, I'm going to cast all of the best comedians of this age in one movie surrounding me, who's terrible in this movie. Like, he hires all of these funny comedians. Yeah. I mean, you got...
you mean his friends? Most of them are his friends.
Is that what it is? He's just in that group of people? Yeah,
they're his friends. They're friends. He's like,
do you think they're still friends after this movie? Because I would dump his ass.
Of course they're still friends. Because
I wouldn't be friends.
Whatever. So... Then there's something about they go to Niagara Falls.
Yeah, I don't remember what the point of that scene was, but they're definitely pretending to be there.
And then they do the More Than Words song. More Than Words. Why did they do that song? Do you remember why they did that?
Because that's the best theme of the movie, is them making these songs. I have no idea where it comes from in the movie, but I remember it's another great rendition.
And it was just sort of sandwiched in the middle of the movie. I don't remember.
Yeah, because I think Jessica Alba visits him at his palace or something, and he's singing with his friend on the sitar, right?
Oh, I think so.
And then this is just more reason for her to gush over him.
Okay, so she's visiting him, And then we get the dinner scene. Do you remember what the joke from the dinner scene is?
No. I remember what the joke... Okay, no, what? What is this?
Nuts in a sack.
Oh, yeah! I do remember that.
They do this whole extended bit about putting meatballs into dough, and then he keeps holding them up like they're nuts, and then when he finally cooks them, he puts a cucumber on it like it's a penis.
Well, you're skipping the part where he's like, "Do you want your nuts smashed or whatever?" And he's like, "I don't." Then he hits it with a mallet for no reason and mangles them. I don't.
And she is constantly laughing at all this stuff he does, which he's not necessarily doing it for. Mike Myers is doing it for laughs, but is the character doing this? I mean, is that what the character wants? Is people to laugh at him?
Okay, see, this is great. This is a good moment to talk about what the character wants, because he genuinely changes what he wants in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Early in the movie, this guy, Cross-Eyed Joe, is like, "Why do you want to be a guru?"
I mean, Ben Kingsley's character?
Yeah, that guy.
Are his eyes on like appendages, like a snail, where his like eyes sort of come out and they're like, "I'm looking at you."
It would be better if they were, Dan. If he could just like extend them, I would be on board. So you got Ben Kingsley asked him why he wants to be a guru, and he's like, "I want to be a guru because I want girls to like me."
Oh yeah,
which
he said that.
Is asinine. It doesn't make any sense to me. But then later,
wait, why does that not make sense? That's a great one.
Sorry, because of his character in the movie itself. That's a great one. But then, when he's older, he says he reiterates why he wants or why he is a guru, and it's to help people. But there's never a moment where his character goes through that change. And I would like to see that journey where he's in it just for the ladies, which he can't do anything with because he's celibate with the metal penis covering. And then I want to see him go through that ladies' man to a genuine person who wants to help someone. That's the arc of this that should be in this movie, but it's not.
Oh, I'm so happy. Oh. Because you know what his real want is? To be paid attention to. Because that's Mike Myers' and I think if you want to think about this movie, his want is to be paid attention to. Mike Myers' human want is to be paid attention to. And so he has made this character whose only reason for existence is to be paid attention to.
Yeah.
And that's why this movie is so sad, because
it's very desperate feeling.
It's like most of Tony's comedy. It's desperate feeling. That's, when I feel like I want to get a laugh, I just make fun of you.
You just send it my way. Hey, that's okay. That's all right. I'll cry later.
So then there's like this whole. Then Celine Dion shows up.
Well, because first of all, she does not show up, Dan.
Wasn't that her?
For sure not, because they never show her face.
Oh,
she
really?
walks on from a wide shot, starts singing. They cut to a behind shot of her hair and never show her face. I would argue she did not go to this movie whatsoever. So that would be my...
But they brought her out to distract Justin Timberlake's character so that Roanoke can get back with his lady. And then we have a scene, maybe backstage or something, and she just sort of goes, "I forgive you."
Because all he does is apologize. That's all he does. He just says, "I'm sorry." And she's like, "Of course I forgive you." Of course? Then why am I watching this movie? This movie could have been over in 18 seconds. All he had to do was say, "Oh, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I got scared. I really do like you. Let's get back together." She says, yes, movie over. They win the playoffs. I don't understand why the entire crux of the movie is solved in less than 3 seconds.
For no reason and no explanation.
A pile of garbage.
And it's not through anything Pitka's done except maybe get Celine Dion, I guess.
Sure, maybe. He doesn't do anything in this movie. He doesn't solve any of the problems. That's why he's bad at his job.
Now, this is my favorite part of the movie because it's so funny. We have games 4, 5, and 6 of the Stanley Cup, and we sort of do them in, classic sort of montage thing. And with each win, we have a single joke. Just one
What's
tiny
the joke? I don't remember the joke.
Game 4, sad giant foam hand. Game 5.
Oh, right.
Game 5 is magazine montage.
Is that a joke?
Well, I mean, it's we do the it's like, yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah.
You're
okay,
like, what funny are we going to put after game 5? Ooh, magazine montage. And then game 6, I just wrote bucket joke. I don't remember what it was, but there was some joke with a bucket.
I couldn't tell you.
Maybe it was the defibrillating. No, that was later,
Coach.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, because he fakes his death or his heart attack later.
That's game 7.
Overtime. Yeah, I have no idea what the bucket joke is. I don't think it's in there.
No, there was a bucket joke. I wrote bucket joke. God, shut up, Tony.
Maybe you're writing jokes for the movie, Dan. Maybe you're like, what would fit here is a nice bucket joke. I love buckets.
Mariska Hargitay. Say it, Tony. Can you say it? You can't say it. Did you just fart?
Oh my God, did we miss the scene in the bar where he does the flatulence noises into the cup?
We missed that. They were the worst flatulent noises into a cup I've ever heard.
I don't understand. He had to explain what it was in the movie because it wasn't working. He kept going like, do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? It was so bad. He's like, I'm doing diarrhea noises into my cup. If you have to tell me what you're doing, you're not doing it very well, you idiot.
That's so funny.
Sorry.
I didn't even write that down because it was so pathetic. You're just like, oh my God. It's like, I mean, it wasn't even like how hard is it to into a cup? The cup didn't even do anything. Just make the fire, what is this? What is that? Oh, you should check your pants. Oh, so many of them. Oh, you must have had cherries last night.
What?
I've been eating a lot of cherries, and man, it's a disaster in the toilet bowl.
I think I owe Mike Myers an apology because he's right. It is funny. They just didn't do it right in the movie.
And they didn't set it up by making fun of a stupid movie for 2 hours before they got to that joke. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So his mom shows up. I don't know if this is the... Yeah. Oh no, he makes up with his mom. So his mom shows up for... Oh yeah, that's the thing. It's game 7. His mom shows up, so he's starting to freak out.
Oh, right. Justin Timberlake invites the mom because he somehow finds out that that's the guy's weakness.
So somehow they've gotten the check, even though they haven't finished the last game. They got the check, and they have to get to Oprah in the next 5 minutes, so they leave, which makes no sense. Out. And then we get to see him on the little magic carpet at the airport, which was cute.
Of course. It's a good callback. Yeah.
And I wrote chastity belt. I don't know why I wrote chastity belt. And so then what happens is we're at game 7. Oh, he makes up with his mom. And they say, oh, you've got exactly, he's got 1 minute to get out there. And then everyone's coordinated all these different elephants from all these different things, which no one said to coordinate these things. They just, somehow the zoo is in town, and then they know to get the other elephant, and they get the elephants on the ice, and the elephants start having sex. so that Roanoke will have enough.
You are just racing towards the end. You see the light in the tunnel, and you are booking for it.
I will get there. I will get there.
Let's talk for a second about the makeup scene with the mother as well.
I don't even remember what that. It's the same thing. Nothing happens.
It's
right?
the exact same thing. He just says, "Hey, Mom, I'm an adult. I'm all good," and she's like, "I knew it, babe." Or, I don't know. She's on board, and then they're just done. What? Why did they need Guru Pitka to come back for that? All this guy has to do is say one word, and all of his problems are gone.
Well, he had to do it twice. Yeah, but yes.
Sure, I'm sorry, 2 words. He had to say 2 words, and he could have solved his entire life's problems. This is not a real person.
I actually love you, honey. I love you too. Mom, lay off. Okay, honey. Like, that's it. Done.
Problem solved. Movie's over. We got through in 12 seconds. Record time. No jokes, just like the full-length movie.
And so then the elephants have sex on the ice, which is... If you ever want to see something crazy, go watch actual elephants having sex, and you will have nightmares.
Will you really? Dan, I don't. First of all, why have you done that? I don't understand why this is a tip that you're able to distribute to the people, because you should have never done that in the first place. We got to limit your internet time, pal. We got to cut you off cold turkey.
No, I just made that up, Tony. I have never seen how incredibly large an elephant's penis is.
The way you say it makes me still think that you have, Dan. I don't know what to believe anymore.
Absolutely not. I feel like I actually have, though.
Oh my God. So, okay.
She thought watching Alien was terrifying. Do not stand behind an elephant.
Oh my God. So that's exactly my point, Dan. They would never televise it, okay? But they did. They didn't cut to commercial in the hockey program. They aired it on national television. Not allowed.
It was in Canada.
Was it? Was this a home game for the Leafs?
We never really established home versus... Yeah. Actually, we really never established home versus... Yeah, we really didn't ever establish that. So the elephants have sex. Then Deepak Chopra shows up and says, "You have finally learned how to love yourself." And then
But when did that happen?
I don't know.
When did he do that?
When he took off the chastity belt.
So is that a masturbation joke?
There were no jokes, but were they trying to make a masturbate? I don't care. So then I wrote music video, and then I wrote most soulless kiss ever.
Ooh, yeah, it was painful to watch. I mentioned this, I don't know, a few weeks ago on Stealth, I think, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't remember which one, where I picture myself on the other end of the kisses. Not on the end that I would be on. Like, I'm not kissing Jessica Alba. I'm kissing Mike Myers because I'm trying to compare notes in my general life. And this is one of the... Stop, Dan. This is one of the worst kisses I've ever seen in my life. There is no joy. If you're paying me money, I think I can kiss anybody passionately.
If I'm in a movie and I'm kissing Jessica Alba, you're sitting there imagining you're kissing me?
You. I'm kissing you, yes. Because I'm trying to...
What is wrong with you?
I am trying...
What is wrong with you?
Because I need to... So, let's say if you're kissing Jessica Alba, my first question is, how you doing it, Dan? How did you do this? And second of all, is she enjoying it? So I put myself in her shoes. That's what I need to know.
She's not enjoying it. I am enjoying it. She's dreaming of that $2 million paycheck.
Please give me the check
and I'm
now.
trying to figure out how I'm going to write another $2 million.
So it's my job.
My wife is going to cut off my balls.
You better hope she doesn't watch this episode, Dan.
She watches all of them. I'm like, honey, you don't need to watch the last 15 minutes. Just skip it.
Just
We
cut
are
it
really
off
not
early.
funny.
Cut it off early.
Okay. Well,
Anyhow, I take it upon myself. It's my job to figure out what you're doing wrong in that scene. That's how I feel, because that's the only way to get better yourself. Well, that and practice, but no one lets me practice. Let's be honest. So I tried to imagine myself on the other end, and I'm like, okay, what are your lips doing? What should my lips be doing? Because then if it ever happens to me in real life, boom, I'm a pro. And that's my philosophy on screen kissing.
I am just wondering. I just can't wait till you decide on what clip to pick from this show to make the preview.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
This has actually been one of the most fun and funniest ones we've done yet. For literally what I might watch Gotti again before I watch this movie.
See, I'm telling you, I apologized weeks ago about my choices, but you have trumped them forever, Dan. This is the worst film of all time.
What was the last music video on this one?
Oh,
it was good. I remember being good.
They're all good.
It's she sings. They both sing and Cheetah's dancing.
Yeah,
it was really short.
Are great.
The last one was pretty darn short, though. I think, wasn't it?
I would have loved to have seen just a straight kind of parody of Bollywood. That's what I wish this movie was.
That's what this movie should have been. It should have been he's just trying to get these two people together, and then he's also getting together with another woman, and it's just a Bollywood thing. And we cut out all these stupid jokes. I mean, maybe the gag jokes might work. The head in the butt, they might actually be funny if they're done in this way. But
in the right way, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a kernel of a good movie here. It just never
Kernel
popped.
might be too big. What's smaller than an atom? Because that's maybe what we have here.
Mike Myers' penis once you put it on the table and hit it with a rock hammer. when like the first 2 minutes they're talking about you put your penis on, like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. And they play the circle game. Where you do the circle below your waist and then you get to punch people, but they do it as like a penis gazing thing, and that's not how I played it in high school. It was just the circle game. You put it on your thigh, and if someone looked at it, you get to slug them. I don't know. Maybe I played it wrong.
Well, I think the whole idea was you're looking at my dick, so I get to punch you.
I get it. That's just not how we played it. I don't know. Weird.
So basically, Jessica Alba and Angel.
That's your summation of the movie?
It's my takeaway. I'm going to go watch Blue Crush now.
Which one is that?
That's the one where there's two couples. She's one couple and there's another couple. And then there's like a crash plane full of cocaine or something out in the ocean.
That's Paul Walker then.
Oh, yeah, it's Paul Walker. Ooh, he's pretty beautiful too.
Oh, God, he's gorgeous. Oh,
how many times have you sat there imagining kissing him, Tony?
Do you mean while watching movies or just on my own free time? Because it's an astronomical number. He was one of my favorite actors, and I know that's controversial because people
he's the
don't
guy that
think
crashed into the tree, didn't he?
Yeah. R.I.P. Paul. I love him. But Fast and Furious, great. But he did this movie called Running Scared.
Tree 1, Paul 0.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, Running Scared. I don't know that movie.
He did a movie called Running Scared, and it's this thriller action kind of movie, and he is so good in it. I love it. I'm a huge Paul Walker fan.
Tony has more guys that he's fans of than super hot girls that we get to enjoy.
I think you're making a joke, but that is legitimately true. You can ask my wife. She agrees. She finds it a little strange. Please rip it up. I wish you could do that to the movie. Tearing
up the notes for that one because that movie was garbage. So now's the point at which we have any final notes, final things to say about this thing.
I guess my final takeaway is that I too would have also fired Mike Myers from ever working again after this movie. sometimes I feel like it's unjustified.
Sure.
Like, I don't think that we should have canceled Eddie Murphy after Pluto Nash.
No.
It wasn't. It's bad. It's really bad. But he's, he could definitely rebound from that, I would think. But this movie, I want him to never make another movie again after that.
Well, I think with this movie, I think that you just need to have someone have some better control over the script, because it starts that. I mean, it starts with the script. All these movies are terrible because of the script. That you can have bad special effects, hideous nose prosthetics that look terrible. I almost tried to order a nose. I was looking at noses, and I was almost going to wear a nose for today.
That would have been pretty great.
It would have been very funny. But I watched this other movie, The Terminal, which was from 2018. Margot Robbie, not the one where Tom Hanks is trapped in the. No, it's called The Terminal, 2018. Margot Robbie, the guy from Hot Fuzz, Simon Pegg, and it's real moody. Hitman. It's pretty bad, but Mike Myers was in it, and he plays this same. I'm a British man who's a sweeper in the terminal, and I think I didn't finish the movie because it was just so bad. And it's just this like, dude, you need to learn how to act. He can't act.
Yeah. No, he can't. He used to be able to make characters.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore either, I guess.
And I mean, if you have not learned how to act through doing comedy, which is...
For
2 decades, comedy is where you learn to act.
Yeah.
The best actors are comedians for the most part.
I agree.
John Hamm. That's
again. Yes, it is.
Who Tony has probably dreamed about kissing.
Oh, a bunch of times. I want him to play a character. I want them to make a Dresden Files movie, which may be something you don't even know what I'm talking about. It's a book series that's brilliant. It's about an adult wizard detective. But there's a character in there called Johnny Marcone. He's the head of the mob scene in Chicago.
Oh, my God.
John Hamm would be so good. He's like this dark, sexy, funny guy. And he'd be so good in that role.
That was my big problem with Baby Driver, is that he played someone so evil.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I understand it. He played it great, but I have a hard time dealing with him as someone evil, because like if you were going to pick a man to be, he'd be very at the top of the list.
Sure.
Super good looking, super funny too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super funny.
And he seems like a genuinely good dude.
He does. He seems
all the
like
things you see. He just seems like a really cool, nice guy, which is weird.
Rock level good guys. That's what he seems like. Okay, Tony, it's time for you to tell us about something you enjoyed other than the Love Guru over the last week. No, you don't get your pick yet.
I was jumping the gun. I was so excited.
Nope. Pick time.
I have to look it up real quick. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it all of a sudden. Oh, yes, of course. That was an easy. I should have known that. So what we watched this week, we've only watched a couple episodes. It's on Netflix. It's called High Score. It's a documentary about the rise of arcade machines and video games, and it is so good. I'm totally enthralled. I can't wait to finish it.
What are the first 2 episodes? Which did
the first episode is kind of talking about Atari's rise.
Oh, okay.
And then they kind of get into this group of guys who modded arcade games, like way back in the day. They went to MIT.
Really?
And they would sell add-ons to cabinets that you could plug into the motherboard, and it gave you extra levels and harder difficulty, which I honestly didn't know that was a thing.
What?
And it's amazing. And then they were sued by Atari for $15 million, and you'll have to watch it to figure out how that went down. But
sure,
so interesting,
super cool.
I'm totally on board. I love it.
I'm picking 2 things, one of which I saw most of, and one of which I haven't finished. First of all, Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn movie. Have you seen it?
Oh yes, of course. I've seen it many times.
I almost loved it. I thought
okay.
I thought there were things I had there were things I didn't care for. I didn't care for Black Canary very much.
Sure.
There were a few things like that, but Margot Robbie she's incredible.
She's a movie star.
She's a movie star. And I just thought it was such an interesting take on how to deal with that character living in a man's world, and also sort of how the underground worked, and just like there were so many things like that in it that were so interesting. I want to go back and watch it again.
I know it did not get great love from the fan community for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was received critically, but
yeah,
I just strongly disagree. I've seen it many times. I saw it in the theaters, and then as soon as it came out on digital, I made my wife watch it because I was like, trust me, this movie's way better than people are giving it credit for. And we love it. We think we enjoy it thoroughly. Yeah, it has problems for sure.
Yeah.
And I think my love of it stems a little bit out of people hating it. I'm like, no, sure. It's good.
And
but she's phenomenal.
The fight scenes are great because there's not all this bad math, where a person jumps through. There's just like it just feels very technically, even though there's a lot of CGI in it, but it's still there's a lot of the movement feels like human movement as opposed to this absurd comic movement.
Well, they're fluid like dance numbers almost.
Yes.
Like I think it's so well done. And this is going to sound like I'm sexualizing here, but the sprinkler scene where the sprinklers are going off during the fight scene is so cool. I love that scene.
One of the Step Up movies has a whole water dance scene, which is really, really good.
Really good.
Which I've watched. I mean, I've watched many of the Step Up dance scenes many, many, many times on YouTube. Oh God, yes, I love that kind of dance stuff. Where it's
no wonder all the movies you pick have dance numbers in them, Dan.
I love dance numbers. No, they make me angry because they don't do good dance numbers. And I also honorable mention to the Jamie Foxx superhero movie on Netflix. What's it called? It's
I don't know.
Power something. Power something.
Stand by, I'm gonna look it up.
Tony's looking it up. And this movie got pretty. I've only watched about the first half of it.
Project Power.
Once again, a movie with problems, but you just feel so much better about Jamie Foxx. You're just like, Jamie Foxx. After Stealth, you're like, okay, Jamie. Just like getting to see Jamie Foxx do some Jamie Foxx stuff makes me feel good inside.
That's understandable. Yeah. I'll have to give that a watch for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. Okay, Tony, now's the time you get to punish me for making us watch Love Guru.
I don't know if I'm going to punish you. I have high hopes for this movie. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
But a few weeks ago, we were watching a film called Charlie's Angels, and you let it slip that you think Twilight is one of the best movies of our generation. Is a direct quote from you. It's a direct quote from you. Listen, viewers, if you didn't watch that episode, don't go back. Trust me, that's what Dan said. Said it's one of the best films of our time. So I wanted to do a movie that stemmed from the main three in that movie. And obviously we already did K-Stew. And I don't think that I could watch.
You're picking another Twilight person.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I genuinely don't like Robert Pattinson, but I'm not going to pick one of his movies.
So you're going to pick? We're going to watch a Tenet.
What is that?
I don't shoot
is that his new movie?
That's his new movie. He's in Tenet, the new Christopher Nolan movie. You don't shoot the bullets; you catch the bullets with the gun.
What? Is that really the crux of this movie?
That's the big line in the trailer. We're doing as soon as Tenet's available for $12.99. We're doing Tenet because I want to rip that thing a new butthole. Sorry.
Okay. So, Dan, are you Team Edward or Team Jamiroquai Johnson? What's the guy's name in the movie? Shoot.
Am I the vampires or werewolves?
Team what was the werewolf's name?
Edward?
No, well,
Or
Edward's the vampire. It's Team Edward or Team Jacob. There we go. Let's.
yeah,
Are you Edward or Jacob?
I'm team of like the super hot girl with the short dark hair.
But that's not Case Stew, right? Does she
No.
have dark, short hair?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't watch
I
those
think she had
movies.
long hair. There's like a really attractive short haired vampire part of the
I believe that.
part of Jake Stewart's. I don't know. Whatever. Okay.
And I've totally butchered this bit, so I apologize if you're still listening to the show, everybody. We're going to do a Taylor Lautner movie. That's what I'm saying.
Taylor Lautner. There's a Taylor Lautner. There's like another one.
There was one, and apparently that was enough. This movie is called Abduction, and from what I read, it's basically a teenaged Jason Bourne. That's kind of the idea behind this movie.
Sure.
So I'm on board. I've got high hopes for it. I don't dislike Taylor Lautner.
What year was this movie from?
I don't know, Dan. You expect me to know these things?
You give us a little idea of what's going on.
2011.
Okay, 2011.
2011, Taylor Lautner. It's got 5% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's gonna be good. And the budget was $35 million. Guess how much it made?
1.7.
90. It did pretty well. And yet somehow still ruined his career. So I don't understand.
You tripled the money on the movie that you starred in. Somebody
and they never
loved
gave
it.
him another movie.
No more movies for you. Movie jail for you.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see it. I think it's gonna be fun. And I'll just let you know that the thing I looked on eBay for is I found a life-size cutout of Taylor Lautner that I wanted to order. But it said it was like here for like 3 weeks, and then we're in Halloween, and I was like, forget it. We're still going to do it.
See, I think what it is it has to come from China, and then they have to make one because they don't have any in stock because they got to make one.
Got to reprint, cut it out. So maybe someday I'll have a Taylor Lautner just creeping in the background or something.
I'm sure your wife will appreciate that when you're not there.
Yeah, maybe.
So dreamy, who's her dream guy?
Well, we agree on Jensen Ackles for sure as what Dan?
Who's Jensen Ackles?
He is the lead, one of the brothers in Supernatural, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. He was in the running to play Captain America.
Oh,
but lost out to what's his name?
He's too lame to
love.
get it because they wanted someone hot and sexy. Okay.
Jensen Ackles is hot and sexy. He's the most beautiful male specimen on the planet. And he's going to be in season 3 of The Boys. They just announced it this past week. So I'm very excited about that.
Okay. So Tony's male crushes. We dug deep into Tony's male crushes this week.
Oh, there's many, many more.
We do Freddie Prinze week one of these years.
Hey, bring on a Freddie Prinze movie because I will tear you to pieces, Dan. The man is flawless. Absolutely flawless.
Freddie Prinze Jr., sorry. Well, I've been Guru Dan Goodsell, Mariska Hargitay. Tony, Mariska Hargitay.
I've been Tony Mariska Hargitay.
What is it?
Say it one more time and I'll say it.
Mariska
Hargitay.
Mariska Hargitay.
Mariska, not Marisha. Got it. Mariska Hargitay.
Mariska Hargitay.
Mariska Hargitay, everybody.
Wow. Good job, Tony. Give yourself a lollipop.
Hey, watch him!